Hello, Wobbly Phil here. In my last couple of videos I explored the 10 weirdest motorcycles of the 1970s that you could buy. But you clever people out there in YouTube land have again top-trumped me in the comments. Several of you mentioned the Shifty 900. I'd never heard of it. What's more, it was marketed using the name of an Italian car manufacturer you don't typically associate with motorcycles, Fiat. So what's the story? I just had to find out. My top 10 weirdest bikes of the 1970s included some pretty radical designs, and I thought my number one, the Amazonas, totally took the biscuit. But the absurdly named Shifty 900 takes that biscuit, adds whipped cream, and pops a cherry on top. Apparently only around 70 made it onto the road, and as you might expect with a machine that's this old and this rare, I had to do a lot of digging to find any information on it, let alone pictures and video. But I think I've pieced it all together. No doubt you'll let me know if I've missed anything or got any of the pieces in the wrong place. This mongrel of a motorbike appears to have been born in 1978 and was blessed with 3 fathers and 1 mother of a mother. The cycle parts and frame came from a combination of Benelli and Laverda 750s, with a hint of Moto Guzzi thrown in for good measure. The mother of an engine came courtesy of Fiat. Somehow those ingenious Italian engineers managed to shoehorn a Fiat 127 engine into this beast. It was a basic 900cc water-cooled inline-4 pushrod engine that had first seen life in the 1950s. Even the Fiat 127 dashboard was incorporated into the fuel tank, which isn't a fuel tank at all. The actual fuel tank was under the seat to keep the centre of gravity low. In fact, not a lot of concessions were made to this being a 2-wheeler as opposed to a 4. Even the original H-shift pattern was retained on the gearbox, which called for some pretty fancy footwork when it came to changing gear. The idea seems to have been to make a large, comfortable Grand Tourer. Don't forget this was around the same time that Honda was pioneering the Goldwing as a long-distance bike. And let's not forget the Munch Mammut was a feature through much of the 70s too. The concept of an extremely heavy beast with a reliable, if underpowered engine with abundantly available spare parts that any backwards mechanic could work on, that would munch the miles without missing a beat, was also part of the rationale for the Amazonas, my number one weirdest bike of the 1970s. The Shifty made around 53 horses and could propel its 270 kilogram weight along at a top speed of around 100 miles per hour. It was the brainchild of a South African gentleman by the name of Hugh Grandis, who had worked for Chrysler in South Africa and, for reasons unknown, relocated to Padua in northern Italy in the late 1970s. There seems to be very little other information about Mr. Grandis on the internet, although one source says he went bankrupt and rode off to that great bike meet in the sky in 1998. However, I did discover that at least one Shifty was shipped to the UK and has been here since 1981. It's recently been taxed, so it must still be gracing the roads of Britain. If you're the owner, it would be great to hear from you. Let me know in the comments what it's really like to own and ride one of these idiosyncratic machines. Not that these were shipped as complete bikes. The idea was you got all the parts, sourced yourself a Fiat 127 engine, then put it all together using the comprehensive instruction manual which came with it. Why was it called a Shifty? Some have suggested it was because of the way a car engine had been shifted into a motorcycle. Others, less kindly, have said it was something to do with having to change gears that were designed to be changed by hand with your foot. and others, even less kindly, have said that the logo was only one small typographical error away from describing everything you needed to know about the bike. Needless to say, I couldn't find any Shifties currently on sale, so if you did rock up to the Ace Cafe run on one of these, you'd be bound to attract a crowd, just not necessarily a crowd of admirers. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please consider liking, subscribing, commenting and sharing to let YouTube know we're doing something right here at 3 Phils. Thank you.